Hello everybody and welcome to another session filming tutorial. Today we're really going to be covering the basics and talking about keyframes. So I know when I first started filming in session, Skater XL, stuff like that, I was very intimidated and was confused by keyframes. So I understand that can be kind of a wall that blocks off certain people that don't really want to deal with that shit. So again, goal of this video to help you understand keyframes and fully kind of maximize your potential and how to use them in conjunction with one another. So realistically, we need to get the boring stuff out of the way and just talk about basic controls. If you want to place down a keyframe, you press or hold down the right bumper and then press down on the D-pad. If you want to delete a keyframe, you hold the right bumper and press up on the D-pad. If you want to scroll through the different types of keyframes that we have available, just left or right on the D-pad. If you want to scroll through the different keyframe modes, which there are 3 of, you hold down the right bumper and then just tap the left bumper. Again, there's 3 different modes we can scroll through. And if you want to cycle through your placed keyframes, just hold down the right bumper and then left or right on the D-pad. Again, that's just going to cycle through the keyframes that you already placed in your timeline. I like to think as keyframes as on and off buttons for certain actions, so if you want anything to happen from changing the position of the camera to field of view adjustments, it's all done by placing keyframes. This isn't just limited to camera adjustments either. You can even change the play rate, time of day, all of that stuff is all done using keyframes. Keyframes can be split into 2 different, categories or groups. The first being keyframe types. So think of these as actions or effects that actively alters the footage in some way or another. So for keyframe types, firstly, we have camera, which simply put, allows you to reposition your camera and add camera roll or sway, often, if not always, used in green or smooth mode to maximize smoothness. Next, we have FOV or field of view, and allows you to change the field of view, or in other words, how narrow or wide your camera lens is. Great for long lens and cinematic stuff, often used in green or in smooth mode, and sometimes in yellow or linear mode if you're feeling spicy. After that, we have DOF or depth of field. Think of this as your camera focus. Do you want your skater to be clear and the background to be all blurry? Well, then lower that DOF and let the replay editor do the work. Mainly used for long lens and cinematic stuff once again, and often with green and yellow keyframes. Play rate is next, and this is what allows the footage to play in slow motion or fast motion. What's cool about play rate is that you can blend green keyframes and white keyframes for some extra creativity points. Next, we have camera shake, and that allows you to add an automated shake effect at varying intensities throughout the clip. Great for added realism, and I use it in green mode, but really I don't think there's a wrong answer here. After that, we have time of day, which allows us to change the time of day. I know, crazy, right? Often used in green or yellow modes. You can do white keyframes for this stuff, but Unreal Engine 4 doesn't really do well with sudden lighting changes, so it might give you a seizure. Just a fair warning. Lastly, we have camera lens, which is realistically kind of lame. It allows us to add very basic and underwhelming screen effects or filters. There's like sepia, black and white, and then some blue-green color correction. Most people will skip these entirely and opt into using effects from their actual video editing software. So that covers the first category, which was keyframe types. Now we're going into the second, which is keyframe modes, meaning green or smooth, linear or yellow, and constant or white. Think of these as different modes that allow you to transition or chain different keyframes into each other at different speeds. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, so an easier way to look at it is white keyframes are an instant on or off button. The moment that the cursor on the timeline crosses the threshold of a white keyframe, whatever type of keyframe is put there will activate instantly. Though they're called constant keyframes, I usually refer to them as instant keyframes, and I mainly use them for play rate adjustments, so going regular speed to slow motion in a blink of an eye, stuff like that. Green or smooth keyframes and yellow or linear keyframes work way differently from white keyframes, but similarly to each other, meaning that both the smooth and linear keyframes gradually ramp up or down in relation to each other. I personally use green keyframes like 90% of the time. If I'm being honest, the only time I'll ever use white keyframes is for, once again, instant play rate adjustments, because to me that's the only practical use they have. I might be missing something, but that's just what I've gathered from literally hundreds of hours of filming. Just as a quick example, here's a same clip, but using 3 different keyframe modes just for camera positioning. And as you can see, for specifically camera positioning, green is by far the smoothest. So real quick, here's a quick cheat sheet on keyframe modes and types and how they coexist with each other. This is by no means law, meaning that you can consider this as like a general guideline and not so much as, rules. But yeah, with that being said, I think that covers it. Now it's up to you to take this information and piece it together and make something sick. I'd recommend obviously starting simple, maybe just focusing on camera adjustments and camera shake. And when you're comfortable with how those keyframes work, then it'll be easier when you start messing around with more complex stuff like FOV and playwright. If you guys want a full tutorial, I actually have 2 previous tutorials on my channel. One that's a little bit more condensed and focused on filming lines, and another one which is longer and covers pretty much everything you need to know about the replay editor in Session. I hope this video helps clear some confusion in regards to keyframes, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, guys. Peace.